Folks, we are about 36 hours away from kickoff for the college football playoff game between the Miami Hurricanes and Texas A&M Aggies at College Station. High noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central time when that game is actually going to start. It's here, folks. We've been waiting for this for 2 weeks, and we are 36 hours away. And I know you're excited. I'm excited. Team is already in Texas. They landed there today. We saw their video of them entering the hotel. It's game time. This is game time. This is go time. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez. Show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave a comment. Yo, I'm getting closer and closer to 13,000 subscribers. Help me get there, people. Help me get there right now at this current time. At this current time, we are sitting right now at 12,807 subscribers, people. Help me get to 13,000 this weekend. We will be live through the duration of the game on Saturday. Well, tomorrow, because now it's Friday right now. Friday morning, 12:23 a.m. We will be live for the duration of the game. Help us get there, and we greatly appreciate you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave your comments. Let's jump in on this preview, man. I know you've been waiting for it. I've been waiting to give it. I've been talking about this game. I don't like giving previews like 4 or 5 days in advance. I think that's silly. I mean, I saw previews a week ago. Now I've seen a lot of previews, and most of the previews I've seen, most of them have they're picking Texas A&M, and they don't even know why they're picking Texas A&M, which is what makes it so weird. It's what makes it so weird. And I listened to John Gruden's preview and his guy with him, and they both picked Miami. They're one of the few people that have picked Miami. Uh, but man, look, I expect a physical football game. I expect hitting. I expect violence. I expect swarming. I expect everything you can expect from a playoff game. This is another level. Neither of these teams has any experience in this situation. The closest that anyone has in experience of a situation like this would be Carson Beck in the SEC championship a couple years ago at Georgia when they lost 27-24 to Alabama. But Carson Beck has played in these SEC stadiums. So this is not something that's out of the ordinary for him. It's not something that I think is going to rattle him. Like people have concerns or whatever. Carson Beck has been playing the best football he's played all season, the last 4 weeks of this season. He's looked fantastic. The Miami offense has finally started to open up and evolve and make plays and do things differently. And this will be a game where they have to do things differently. They have to continue to show new wrinkles to their offense. They have to be who they are, but they have to continue to evolve and put things out there to make Texas A&M think. It cannot be handed off what a cloud does. Yes, do I believe Miami can run the ball on Texas A&M's defense? Absolutely. It needs to be a combination of Gerard Pringle and Mark Fletcher, not just one or the other. It has to be both of them. They provide different positives each way. And Malachi Tony, I'll say it again, has to touch the ball at least 15 times. However, you got to get him the ball. He has to touch that ball, whether it's catching the ball, running the ball, throwing the ball, punt return, at least 15 times. Now, let's jump into the most specific matchups of this game. Whoever is blocking Cassius Howe has to be on his job. So whether it's Maui Goa or Markel Bell, they have got to be on their jobs. And I would expect that the Miami Hurricanes will keep a tight end or a running back to help chip off of this guy. Now, one thing about the Texas A&M defensive, I've been watching their games. I watched a bunch of their games, and I see the same thing over and over and over. They are incredibly aggressive, but they are incredibly aggressive to the point of lacking discipline. They lack discipline in what they do. They will go balls to the wall. Sacking the quarterback has its pros. It also has its cons. Because when you're putting that type of pressure, you know what you're also leaving open? Screen passes. Those screen passes can be very, very effective and very, very deadly when you have all these guys rushing in. So they're a very aggressive defensive team. Miami has one of the best offensive lines in the country. I mean, pass blocking, I will tell you, the Miami's offensive line is one of the best in the country. They have done an excellent job of keeping Carson Beck clean. There's got to be a combination for the Hurricanes offensively. Short passes, long passes. They have to challenge Texas A&M deep. It cannot just be dump off, dump off, dump off. Yes, you will have to check down at times for sure. You have to make the smart throws. Carson has to make the smart, correct throws. I don't have a lot of concern for him in terms of the happy feet and stuff like that. I don't have that concern. I really don't. I've spoken my piece on Carson Beck on this, and I'm going to say it again. I don't have that concern. But Miami has got to put up points early. They have got to put up points early. They have got to get a lead. They have to play with the lead. They have to turn that crowd off early because that crowd will be loud. Some people say, oh, if it was not going to be loud, it's going to be. It's 109,000 people, man. It's loud. Those people probably will start drinking today. And they'll probably be at the stadium all night long and they're not going to leave. They're going to be drunk off their asses. And it's going to be loud. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be a tough place to play. But let's be real. It's not like Texas A&M has been dominant on its home field. I don't care if they haven't lost. Almost all their games have been competitive at home. They struggled with Auburn at home. They struggled with freaking who was it at South Carolina at home. They had struggles with Mississippi State at home. They had struggles. They are not some infallible team that's been untouchable. They may be 11-1, but we all saw what we saw. I saw what I saw. I saw the holes that this team has. Offensively, this team will throw the ball deep unless they decided over these past 2 weeks to completely turn into a different football team and decide that now, oh no, we're going to start doing dink and dunk because we're afraid of that pass rush of the Miami Hurricanes. I have a hard time believing that this football team is going to completely change their identity because your identity is your identity. And if you change your identity, realistically, you typically don't do it very well because it's not who you are. Like if you're a naturally nice guy, it's typically hard for a naturally nice guy to just become a dick. And if you're naturally a dick, it's typically hard to then all of a sudden become a nice guy. It's not natural. It doesn't feel right. It's not smooth. And that goes both ways. It's not something that works smoothly. So if you're a team that likes to chunk it up down the field and throw the ball deep, probably 8 to 10 times, they're going to throw that ball deep 8 times. Mark it down. 8 times they will throw that ball deep. But if they don't, that means they are completely changing who they are because of the fear of the Miami Hurricanes pass rush. So what does that mean? That means that Miami has to push their defensive backs up. And they cannot allow those quick 5-yard routes. They cannot allow those crossers that turn into big gains like Chris Bell did against the Miami Hurricanes with Louisville. Those are critical things. Keontae Scott expected to play. Damari Brown may not play. OJ Frederick is going to play. They're going to be as healthy as they have been all season. As healthy as they've been all season. All the talking that Texas A&M players have been doing is utterly crazy. And I'm sure there's been a notebook of this stuff, but these guys for the Miami Hurricanes they're here to prove a point. They're here to prove a point. I understand people saying, oh, the Canes have not played in front of 110,000 people. Oh, who cares? Big deal. You act like they didn't play at Florida last year in front of 90,000 people. Like a lot of these guys were on the team last year. They played in front of 90,000 people in a season opener and dog walked the Gators in Florida at Florida Field. This is not a group of guys that have never played in front of a big crowd, in front of a loud crowd. So I don't think that's be much to be worried about, to be quite honest. This game is going to come down to a couple of things realistically. And I know it sounds very, very simple, but I think the main thing is penalties. It's not turnovers, it's penalties. Clean football, penalty-wise, is of utmost importance for the Miami Hurricanes, particularly on offense. We cannot see pre-snap penalties. We cannot see dumb holding calls, but really those pre-snap penalties that put you behind the sticks on first down and 10 and turn it to first and 15, or second and 3 and turn it into second and 8. You cannot have those types of penalties. Those penalties will kill drives in a game like this. They will kill drives. Because in a game like this, realistically, it's better to punt than it is to turn the ball over or make a dumb mistake. So those penalties, and both of these teams, bluntly, are highly undisciplined when it comes to penalties. They are both terrible in that department. While Miami was actually behind A&M at 130th and A&M is 124th, they're both pretty god awful at it. I mean, that's just a fact. It's just a fact. And so I think penalties is the most important thing in this game because the penalties are what create the other problems. And that goes for both teams. If A&M can't avoid committing penalties, they're going to create their own problems that Miami won't even have to do to them. You know what I mean? And that goes in the same for the Hurricanes in terms of committing penalties that make it easier for A&M and allow them to really rear back and look to rush the quarterback hard. I think Miami has to look for some screen passes, tunnel screens, not wide receiver screens, but more tunnel screen type passes up the middle. I think they have to truly look deep a few times. I'm not saying I don't think that Carson Beck has to throw the ball deep 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times. He has to throw the ball probably deep about 3, 4, 5 times. Put Malachi Tony in the position to make plays. CJ Daniels has to step up. This has to be a big game for CJ Daniels because they're gonna freaking follow Malachi Tony everywhere. Doesn't mean you can't get him the ball, but it means that there's other guys that are gonna be there to make plays, right? Carson Beck, don't throw the bad pass. Just take this. If it's a sack, take the sack. Seriously, take the sack. But I do believe Miami will be able to run the ball. I do believe they'll be able to establish the run early. I do believe that the long drive that eats up 6, 7, 8 minutes could be good early on because it will take the crowd out of the game initially. And that's big. Depending on who gets the ball first, the first possession of the game, either way, is absolutely critical. For Miami, if they're on defense first, 3 and out. Set the tone on the first play of the game. I will bet money right now. First play of the game, Texas A&M will throw the ball deep. I would bet money on it. They will be looking to throw that ball deep. If they don't, I'll be surprised. I'd be surprised if they hand the ball off on first down. I would be looking on the first play, especially if they get the ball first. It's more so if they get the ball first. If they don't get the ball first and Miami gets the ball first, maybe a little different. But if they get the ball first play deep, because that's what I would do. I'm telling you, that's what I would do. I would come out of the gate if I'm Texas A&M. I'm going to test the Miami defensive backs immediately. Show me something. That said, Marcel Reed is very inaccurate downfield. I've watched him throw that deep ball. Yes, he makes some that are nice. A lot of others are not nice. They are way overthrown, underthrown. They are not accurate. Casey Concepcion, you got to bottle him up. You cannot punt him the ball. You have to keep him contained as a wide receiver. You've got to keep him contained on the end around. You've got to keep him contained. You have to make Mario Craver be the star for them. Casey Concepcion is very dynamic, but that punt return game, he's like number 1 in the country in punt return. You need to lock that up. He had like almost 500 yards of punt return yardage this year. Like he is a great punt returner. Now, I'm not overly concerned about A&M's running attack, despite the fact that Ruben Owens II thinks that Miami nothing to worry about because Miami's like Missouri, ridiculous. So I'm not overly concerned about. I don't think he's not the type of back that's going to get those types of yards. He's a plotter. He's not a freaking burst back. He's not Isaac Brown. He's not Hollywood Smothers. And Miami shut down Hollywood Smothers. He's not those types of guys. Marcel Reed, contain him. I have no worries about Miami containing him. I don't think he'll get much off in terms of running the football because Miami's been very, very successful against mobile quarterbacks this year. There's no reason to think that there's no reason to believe that that's going to change. From a perspective of From the perspective of yeah, so I don't think there's any reason to believe that's going to change. At the same time, Miami has to get to him with the front four. They can't be blitzing. They can't if they have to blitz to get to him, it's going to be a long day for Miami. They have to get to him with the front four. Period. They have to. Because when you blitz him, he's actually better than when you don't. Because when you blitz him, he doesn't have to think. The more that he has to think and navigate back there in the pocket, contained, he is less successful. He reminds me of a bigger, a slightly bigger Thomas Castellanos. Is he better? Yeah, sure. Does he throw a better ball? Yes, sure. But he has that same tendency to airmail balls. He has that tendency to airmail balls, underthrow balls. He makes mistakes on easy throws. So that's very Thomas Castellanos. Like, he only completed 62% of his passes. Carson Beck, on the other hand, is very, very accurate. Carson Beck, on the other hand, is very, very accurate. As I mentioned, defensively, Miami's defense line again has to get there with the front four. Turnovers obviously will be an important component. The team that wins the turnover battle will probably win the game. But I think the penalties are even before the turnovers, because the penalty bug can create the turnover bug. Now, some people may say, well, Carson Beck did this, Carson Beck did that, da 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 da. It's fine and dandy. If you look at the Miami Hurricanes and their game against Louisville, if you look at that game, they committed 9 penalties for 67 yards. It's a bad day committing penalties. I'm not saying that created the turnovers, but they affect the game. They impact your drives. They kill drives early. What you don't want to do is you don't want to fall behind on the road. You really don't want to fall behind. Or if you do that, you immediately respond. Again, penalties against SMU, a disaster, 12 for 96. Those penalties directly contributed to Miami losing. Like, very, very clearly contributed to Miami losing that game. Now, coaching perspective, I just asked Coach Marcus about allow Shannon Dawson to coach, man. Just let him do his job. Don't try to interject. Be sound with time management, with clock management, with timeout usage. Trust your guys to win. Trust them to win, man. Trust them to do the right thing. The belief is critical. You have to believe in them. And I do believe he believes in them, but I think sometimes in play calling, it maybe shows something different. That maybe he has concerns. Like, bro, you have a very experienced quarterback. If the Miami Hurricanes lose, they lose. We lose, we lose. But I don't think it's going to be because of lack of ability or lack of confidence, or lack of skill. It will be because of things that realistically happen where you're trying to make the offense a little bit too vanilla and bland. I don't want to see bland. I don't want to see vanilla. I want to see some trick plays. They better come out in this game, double reverse, end arounds, quarterback throwback, flea flicker. And realistically, if Miami can force a turnover early, that will really set the tone. Special teams wise, we got to have, when we punt, we need to flip the field. Dylan Joyce has got to give us some bombs on punts. I don't think they'll punt the ball to Malachi Tony just the same way. I don't think we'll punt it to Casey Concepcion. Field goal kicker wise, their kicker has had some struggles at times from what I've seen, specifically numbers wise. Let me pull up his numbers actually. Numbers wise, he is 11 of 18 on field goals. That is not very good. In fact, that's rather bad. Randy Bond is not very good kicking. Even the other guy, Jared Zirkle, 4 of 6. These guys miss field goals. They are not a solid field goal kicking team. So if you force them to kick a field goal, that is a win because there is a almost a 50-50 chance based on the statistics, especially if the kick is outside of 35 yards, that he will possibly miss. He's 5 of 8. Sorry, outside of 39. He's 5 of 8 from 40 to 49 and 0 of 3 from 50 plus. So if the kick is 40 or more, he is 5 of 11. He's actually missed a 20 to 29 yarder. Now he missed that against Mississippi State. He completely shanked one against Mississippi State from 27 yards, I believe it was. But 40 plus, he is hit and miss, man. He is more than likely not going to make that kick. Like more than likely, he is not going to make that kick. If the game comes down to that man having to make a kick from that distance, they're not winning. Like they're not winning. On the other hand, Miami has been pretty solid this year with the field goal kicking. Carter Davis is 14 of 16 from field goals. He's 4 of 4 from 20 to 29, 4 of 4 from 30 to 39. He's 5 of 7 from 40 to 49. He won a game against Notre Dame. He's 1 of 1 from 50, long of 53. Never missed an extra point. Again, very, very solid. Feel comfortable with him. Tackling. God, you got to tackle. Wrap up. Hit, swarm, extreme violence. Nothing stupid. No head to head. No helmet to helmet. Avoid those personal fouls. Keep your composure. They're going to try to bait you to do dumb shit because both these teams do dumb shit at times. Keep your composure. Ruben Bain has got to dominate this game. Ruben Bain has to dominate this game. Akeem Mesidor, those bookends have to make life miserable. They have to give Trey Zun a lesson. Jacoby Thomas, command that secondary. Mohamed Toure, be solid, bro. Wesley Bissainthe, be solid. Do your job. Cornerbacks have to handle their business. I'm obviously going over every position right now, but realistically, I think Miami has many ways to win. I think A&M has one way to win. And I think the only way that A&M wins this game is if they're able to hit chunk passes deep. If they're not able to do that and Miami forces them to have to drive the field to score, Miami's going to win this game. I think Miami's going to win this game handily. Miami is well adept at 10-play drives. I think we know that by now. And now inside the 10-yard line, Miami has to come up with plays to put that ball into the end zone. You cannot settle for field goals on the road. You have to put the ball in the end zone. It's very, very, very simple. Corey Heatherman, I expect to have a very strong defense plan. They've had 2 weeks plus to prepare for this team. Everything that I've seen, they have seen probably 15 times over. There will be wrinkles on both teams for sure, but I don't expect A&M to all of a sudden become a short dink and dunk passing team. That said, I like Miami, obviously. I'm a Hurricane fan. I mean, I'm not one of those Hurricane fans that typically glaze. Have I picked Miami to win every game this year? Yes, I have. In the past, have I done that? No freaking way. This team I do have a confidence in that I haven't had in Miami Hurricane team in years. I didn't have the same confidence in this team last year, not with the defense the Miami Hurricanes had. Not a chance. Like I haven't had the level of confidence in this group, in this team that I had in 20 plus years. That's how long it's been. So I expect Miami to win this game. I think Miami's win this game probably around 34-17, something like that. 31, 17, 30. Let's say 34-17, maybe even 34-14. I don't think A&M's going to be able to score. I think that defense is going to be absolutely dominant. We keep on for people keep on forgetting that A&M has at times had struggles scoring the football. They scored 16 points against Auburn on their home field. They did beat Mississippi State 31-9. That game was 7-3 at halftime. They didn't score. They scored 3 points for South Carolina in the first half. They ended up winning 31-30, but 3 points in the first half. They only had 17 against Texas Tech. I mean, against Texas. Yeah, have they had big number games as well? Yes, but they've also had big give up number games. 42 points by Arkansas, a 2-win Arkansas team. Like, think about that for a second. If the Arkansas Razorbacks can score 42 points on Texas A&M, God damn it, the Miami Hurricanes should be able to do so as well. I'm not saying we're going to do that, but we should be able to do it. Because there's no way that if Miami plays Arkansas that it's a 45-42 game. Consider the fact that Notre Dame beat Arkansas by 43 points. It also shows you that every game is different because A&M also beat Notre Dame. But yeah, I like Miami, 34-17. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will be here again all day on Saturday from starting at about 11:50 or so, and we will conclude with a post-game live post game recap, and presumably celebrating victory, bro. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. I appreciate y'all jumping on board again. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. I appreciate y'all. God bless. Let's go, Canes. It's all about the U, baby. Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.